Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Happy Thanksgiving, and as I promised, I am coming back with a new video. I'm going to be making a keto pumpkin pie cheesecake for Thanksgiving. So I want to take you guys along with the ingredients, how I make it, just every step of the way on how I make this delicious keto pumpkin pie cheesecake. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss. That's just my oven preheating. And let's get started.
So before we get started, I want to just go over the ingredients with everybody. So for this recipe, you are going to need 2 blocks of cream cheese. You're going to need some substitute sugar. So for example, I use Swerve. You're going to need 2 eggs. You're going to need some pumpkin pie spice, some pure vanilla extract, some pumpkin puree. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter. I use Kerrygold. You can use whatever you'd like, whatever you prefer. And then the last thing you're going to need is the almond flour. Now I like to use the Nature's Eat Superfine Blanched one. All right, so let's get cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to grease our pan. And so I have a glass pan here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my butter here, my Kerrygold butter, and I'm going to grease that. Okay, so it looks like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put this to the side. I'm going to take about 2 more tablespoons of butter, and we are going to add it to a bowl here, and we're going to put it in the microwave so that it could actually melt. Okay, now that we have our butter melted, we are going to take our bowl here, and we are going to add our butter into our bowl, our mixing bowl. Now that I have my butter melted, I am going to add our sugar substitution, which is Swerve. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons into the butter. There's 1. There's 2. Put this to the side because we're going to need it later. And then once we add the Swerve in the butter, we are going to go ahead and mix the 2. Okay, so we want it evenly incorporated, the butter and the Swerve. And once you mix that around, you're going to grab your almond flour. So I'm going to take my Nature's Eat almond flour, and I'm going to add a cup into the bowl. We are making the crust of the pie. So I'm just going to add a cup of almond flour. Just make sure that's evened out a little bit. Then we're just going to take that and we're going to add it to our bowl. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and mix that. Make sure it's evenly incorporated. And if you have to add more butter, like a teaspoon more, it's okay. You shouldn't have to. But if you want it a little bit more, the crust a little bit more moist, you can add 1 more tablespoon of grass-fed butter. Remember, on a keto diet, the more fat, the better. And you want like a crust consistency. Since this is going to be your crust, you want to ensure that it's not too dry and it doesn't crack or break. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my greased pie pan and I'm going to apply it to the actual bottom of the pan. Okay, and then once I have that pie crust at the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and just make it into a pie crust. I'm just gonna evenly distribute it. Try to get it around to fit the whole pan. Sometimes it's just easier to just use your hands. You want it to look like this, okay? So now that I have the crust formed at the bottom of the glass pan, I'm going to put it in a 325 oven preheated for 10 minutes. So I'm gonna cook the crust first. While the crust is cooking for about 10 minutes, we are gonna go ahead and make our cream cheese pumpkin pie filling for the pie. We are then going to take 2 blocks of cream cheese and add it to the bowl. We are just waiting for our crust to get done. And you want to make sure that your eggs and your cream cheese is at room temperature before you start cooking. So I had mine sitting out for about an hour, so you want to make sure that it is at a room temperature because it will definitely be more easier to mix. We're just going to dump it into the bowl. Don't want to miss anything. Okay, so after we have our cream cheese, we are now going to be adding a cup of our sugar substitute swerve. So we're going to go back into that swerve and we are going to add a cup. Okay, so we have just about a cup here and we're just going to put it in there. And then we are going to mix it until it is incorporated into the cream cheese and there's a smooth consistency to the actual. So we're just gonna mix the two. And it's okay if you get messy doing this. Baking is supposed to be messy, it's supposed to be fun, it's the holidays. Gonna switch to a spoon. It seems like it's a lot easier when we do that, so. As you can see, it's getting smooth. Once that is mixed, we are gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of pumpkin puree. So we're gonna go ahead and add that to our mixture here. Once we add that puree, we are going to add 2 room temperatured eggs. Okay. So there's 1. There's 2. And then once we add the 2 eggs, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and we are gonna add it to our bowl. Then we are going to take our pumpkin pie spice and we are going to add a teaspoon of that into our mix. And then we are going to stir it. And you want it to have like this consistency. Once our pie crust is out of the oven, we are going to go ahead and add our pie cheesecake filling to the actual bowl. Okay, and I want to make it as even as possible. You guys, I'm sorry, my sun is setting and the sun sets on in my kitchen. But this is what it looks like once it's poured. And so what we're gonna do is we're going to put it back in the oven at 325 for 40 minutes. All right, so that is your keto pumpkin pie cheesecake, and we will be back when it's all done and out of the oven. All right, friends, it just came out of the oven, and as you can see, it looks delicious and so amazing. At this point, you want to let it sit in the fridge overnight so that on Thanksgiving Day or the next day, it's good to go and creamy and just so delicious. So here is that finished product. So good. I can't wait to eat it tomorrow. All right, friends, that was my video for the keto pumpkin pie cheesecake. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like any more keto recipes, please leave them down below and I would be happy to do a video on them. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a blessed holiday. Remember, you are loved. Always stay humble, stay true to yourself, and remember who you are. Until next time, friends. Bye.